Hi, this is Tripp. I'm the head of formation at Dwell, and it's a joy to be with you today. Today, I want to introduce you to voices and versions on the Dwell app. Let's jump in. One of the things I love about the Dwell app is the way these voices bring a human touch, a living connection with another person who loves Scripture just as much as you do. And I think that's something that sets Dwell apart. As you encounter these voices, you are inspired by their reading and you hear from God in a new way, perhaps a transformative way. And we now have over 20 voices and 14 versions, which means there's a voice for everyone. Let me show you. Here in the Dwell app, if you click on any piece of content, you can then listen to it with any voice. That may sound obvious, but I think it's important to point out. So in my Bible in a Year plan, here, if I want to listen to this same passage with a different person reading it, all I have to do is click their name. Right now I was listening to Russell, but here, when I click their name, the version and voice menu appears. And this is a great way for you to find a voice and a version that's right for you. Let me show you just a few things on this menu. To begin with, you have your current voice listed here at the top. You'll see there is a flag to the left of their name, which tells you a little bit about that person, where they're from, what type of voice you can expect. Similarly, you'll have a two-word description that tells you a bit about their voice. Russell is gentle and pastoral, Amber, comforting and eloquent, etc. All of our voices are arranged by version alphabetically, beginning with the Christian Standard Bible. And as you scroll through, you can see all of our versions and our voices, learning a little more about them as you do. Here towards the bottom, when we get to the end of our English translations, you'll see our Spanish and Portuguese options listed as well. At the bottom, you also are able to go random and have Dwell choose a voice for you at random. I'll tell you a little bit more about our random settings in just a minute. So, one of the things I would recommend as you explore these voices is to be adventurous and maybe listen outside of normal versions that you would perhaps default to. Let me tell you what I've done. For me, when I read the Bible, especially a printed Bible, usually I default to the ESV. It's what I grew up with and I know it very well. However, when I started using Dwell, I found that I loved Russell's voice. It resonated with me deeply, and I listened to it more and more. And because of that, I've come to love the New Living Translation. The NLT, with Russell reading it, has become an exciting new way that I listen to the Bible. And it's really my go-to in the Dwell app. Speaking of a go-to, let me show you a few additional settings. So if I minimize our player here and click the gear setting button on the home page, here, you can have a few additional voice customizations. If you love Russell like me and want to lock your settings where the only voice you hear is Russell, you can do that, or any other voice that you love. Simply click Lock Voice, and then choose the voice that you would like to lock it to. So here, Russell is selected. So now if I were to leave this on, Russell would be my locked voice. You see it listed here, voice locked to Russell. Now, on the other hand, as you've explored our voices, maybe there's a handful that resonate with you, and you don't want to stick to one, but would love to have maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 in a constant rotation. Well, you can customize random mode, where if you click in here, you can toggle on the voices that you would like and the ones you'd like to leave out. In doing so, then when you select random from the voice menu, you'll hear only the voices you've selected here. It's a really helpful way to keep a handful of voices in rotation while still keeping it mixed up. I recommend you try that out. A couple of other things, a few final notes. If you're someone who loves to read in Dwell, when we go back to our player and click on the Read Only tab, here you're still able to select your version, but since it's read only, you won't be able to select your voice. However, if I simply click here, you can see change version, and I'll click the ESV, and now the text will update to the English Standard Version. One important thing to note though, having switched here to the ESV, if I go back to listen mode, you'll notice my voice has updated from Russell to Rosie. A random ESV voice was selected so that you have continuity in what you're listening to and what you're reading. So, one last thing I would mention. There is a difference between a voice and a guide. While any biblical piece of content can be listened to by a voice, such as a plan or a playlist, Dwell's guided content, things like Dwell Daily or Lectio Divina or breath prayers, they only have a single voice because it's an actual guide, one guide, walking you through that experience and journeying with you deeper into the scriptures. And so, that is voices and versions in the Dwell app. I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, anything you would like further clarity on, please don't hesitate to reach out. Shoot us an email at help@dwellapp.io, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you again for joining me. And now, God bless you, and may the word of Christ dwell in you richly.